Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. Hope you're all doing amazing today. In this video, we're diving into the latest updates about Kelly Ripa and Ripa-Consuelos. You don't want to miss this. So make sure to stay tuned till the end, and don't forget to hit that subscribe button. The sun had barely risen over New York City when Kelly Ripa pushed open the door to the quiet kitchen of her home. Normally, mornings in the Ripa-Consuelos household were filled with light banter, the rich aroma of coffee, and Mark humming some upbeat tune as he prepared breakfast. But this morning, the house carried a different atmosphere, one of heaviness, worry, and unspoken fear. Mark sat at the kitchen island, wrapped in a gray sweatshirt, his shoulders slightly hunched and his face paler than usual. Kelly paused in the doorway, watching him. He looked lost in thought, staring at the mug in his hands as if the steam carried the answers to all the questions neither had been brave enough to ask aloud. "Did you sleep?" she finally asked softly. Mark looked up, and in that brief moment, Kelly saw the exhaustion etched beneath his warm brown eyes. "A little," he replied, forcing a smile. "Didn't want to wake you." Kelly crossed the room and placed a gentle hand on his shoulder. "You never wake me. I always wake up because of my own brain running a mile a minute." She tried to joke, but the attempt fell short. Even humor, their strongest shared language, felt fragile today. Just a week earlier, Mark had experienced what they thought was a passing bout of flu. But the fatigue lingered, the discomfort grew, and the doctor's call yesterday had shaken their world more than either of them wanted to admit. Further testing. Potential complications. We need to monitor it closely. Words that changed everything. The show must go on. Hours later, Kelly sat on the makeup chair at the Live with Kelly and Mark studio, staring into the mirror as the stylist curled her hair. The bustle of the studio, normally her safe haven of energy, laughter, and routine, felt louder than usual. Every noise seemed amplified, every greeting a reminder to act normal. Today, she had to perform, to host, to smile, even though her heart wasn't ready. Mark, despite her urging to stay home, insisted on being there. "As long as I'm able," he told her, "I want to show up. For you, and for the audience, their family too." When the cameras rolled, the familiar theme music filled the studio. Kelly and Mark walked out hand in hand. The applause washed over them, but Kelly could sense the slight strain in Mark's smile. He laughed, he engaged, he delivered his lines perfectly, but Kelly noticed the subtle moments when his hand tightened around his mug too long, or when his eyes drifted for a second as fatigue pulled at him. During a commercial break, she lightly touched his arm. "You okay?" "Yeah," he whispered. "Just a little tired. I'm fine." But the tremor in his hand told a different story. Behind the scenes. After the show, the studio emptied and silence returned. Kelly sat beside Mark on the sofa in their dressing room, her hand entwined with his. For a long moment, neither spoke. "You don't have to be strong for me all the time," she said finally, her voice barely above a whisper. Mark rubbed his forehead, exhaling deeply. "I'm not trying to be strong. I'm just scared, and I don't want to make it harder for you." The admission broke something inside her. A tear slipped down her cheek before she could stop it. "You getting sick, it's my worst nightmare," Kelly confessed. "You're the one who keeps us all steady. You're our anchor. Seeing you like this, hurting, tired, I don't know how to handle it." Mark reached out, wiping her tears with a thumb. "We'll handle it together, like we always do." But Kelly shook her head. "You always say that when I'm the one falling apart. Now it's you, and I don't know how to be the strong one." The room filled with vulnerability, raw, honest, unfiltered. And for the first time since the doctor's call, they allowed themselves to speak the fear aloud. The family meeting. That evening, their children, Michael, Lola, and Joaquin, gathered at the house after Kelly called for a family dinner, something she rarely insisted on spontaneously now that the kids were older and busy. As they sat around the table, Kelly noticed how Mark, though tired, made an effort to maintain his usual dad-like jokes, teasing Joaquin about his haircut and complimenting Lola's latest music obsession. But the kids sensed something wasn't right. Finally, Michael spoke what everyone was thinking. "Dad, what's going on?" Mark exchanged a glance with Kelly. She nodded gently, signaling it was okay to share. With quiet clarity, Mark explained the diagnosis, not overly dramatic, but truthful. He described the next steps, the tests, the treatments, the uncertainties. Lola's eyes filled immediately. But you're going to be okay, right? Mark squeezed her hand. I'm going to fight, and I have all of you. That's more strength than any medicine. The family embraced, a tangle of arms, tears, and whispered promises. In that moment, Kelly felt the shift. Their home wasn't full of fear anymore. It was full of unity. The night of breakdown and breakthrough. Later, when the house was quiet, Kelly sat beside Mark in their bedroom. She had held herself together for everyone, but now the reality pressed in with force. As Mark drifted to sleep, she watched him, her partner of decades, the love of her life, the father of her children, and fear tightened around her heart like a fist. She slipped out of bed and quietly walked into the living room, sinking onto the couch. The tears came then, not graceful, not composed, but shaking, uncontrollable sobs, the kind that only come when the person you love most is hurting and you can't fix it. She covered her mouth, not wanting to wake Mark, but the sound still broke through the silence. A moment later, she felt a familiar warmth behind her. Mark sat down, wrapping his arms around her from behind. "Hey," he whispered, his voice hoarse. "You don't have to hide from me." Kelly turned into his chest, crying openly now. "I'm scared, Mark. I don't know how to handle this if it gets worse. I can handle anything, except losing you." Mark held her close, stroking her hair, letting her cry. "You won't lose me," he said softly. "I'm here, and I'm going to fight like hell to stay here. But if there's one thing I know, it's that you, Kelly Ripa, are the strongest person I've ever known. You don't have to pretend for me. We'll be scared together. We'll be strong together too." Their tears mingled, fear and love intertwined. And in that raw, painful yet comforting moment, Kelly realized something. Strength didn't mean not breaking. It meant breaking together and still choosing hope the next morning. The family meeting. That evening, their children, Michael, Lola, and Joaquin, gathered at the house after Kelly called for a family dinner, something she rarely insisted on spontaneously now that the kids were older and busy. As they sat around the table, Kelly noticed how Mark, though tired, made an effort to maintain his usual dad-like jokes, teasing Joaquin about his haircut and complimenting Lola's latest music obsession. But the kids sensed something wasn't right. Finally, Michael spoke what everyone was thinking. "Dad, what's going on?" Mark exchanged a glance with Kelly. She nodded gently, signaling it was okay to share. With quiet clarity, Mark explained the diagnosis, not overly dramatic but truthful. He described the next steps, the tests, the treatments, the uncertainties. Lola's eyes filled immediately. "But you're going to be okay, right?" Stay tuned for all the updates about Kelly Ripa. We are the first to publish all the information about Kelly Ripa and Ripa-Consuelos, so stay with us to get all the latest updates. And stay tuned to our USA Daily Drop for all updates.